Hello, K-pop fans! I-DLE is starting a whole new chapter. With their new name, bold concept, and a comeback that's already turning heads, all eyes are on them. But here's what most people don't know. This team, it came together through a wild mix of accidents, coincidences, and guts. Soyeon got into Cube because of a dance audition that didn't go her way. Minnie came to Korea because of a fortune teller. If you thought their rise was all part of some big master plan, think again. Today, we're diving into how I-DLE really came together. Let's go! Soyeon's journey didn't start with a dream of joining Cube. Back then, she was into street dancing and was preparing for an art high school focused on dance. But when she went for her entrance exam, things went wrong. Her music CD wouldn't play. Imagine having to perform your routine in complete silence. That's exactly what happened. She didn't pass the exam, and that failure hit her hard. While trying to move on from that disappointment, she spotted a Cube audition notice at her dance academy. It wasn't part of her original plan, but she decided to give it a shot, and passed. From there, Soyeon trained, appeared on Produce 101, made waves on Unpretty Rap Star, and eventually led the debut of I-DLE in 2018. Now in 2025, she's still the creative force behind I-DLE's music, driving their new era with vision and leadership. Minnie was born into a wealthy family in Thailand, what they call a high-so family. But fancy life aside, what she really loved was music. Since she was a kid, K-pop was huge in Thailand, and Minnie, she was a hardcore Super Junior fan. Naturally, she went to a vocal and dance school, where she ended up auditioning for Cube. She passed. Simple, right? But here's where it gets tricky. At the time, Minnie was in her last year of high school. She wanted to graduate, maybe go to university. Leaving everything behind to train in Korea, big decision, but her parents pushed her to take this shot. Because a fortune teller once told them, if Minnie goes far from home, she'll thrive. So with barely any Korean skills, she packed her bags and moved to Seoul. It wasn't a smooth ride. The language barrier hit hard. On top of that, trainees she trained with kept quitting. Minnie slowly closed herself off, becoming more reserved, more guarded. Yuqi and Shuhua, who joined later, even said Minnie's first impression was like a scary uni. But once the debut lineup was finalized, everything changed. Having teammates she could trust helped her open up again, and her bright, bubbly side came back. Today, she's a pillar of I-DLE's vocals, and her solo activities continue to flourish alongside the group's comeback. Yukis journey to K-pop? Honestly, she had plenty of other options. Since she was a kid, Yuqi was that all-rounder student. Smart, talented, funny, popular, the type who could succeed at anything. She studied at Beijing Shangdi Experimental School, a super competitive place for top students. Even there, she was in Class 1, the top-tier class. Later, she got into Beijing 101 Middle School, one of China's most prestigious schools, famous for producing high-ranking officials and leaders. With that background, most people would expect her to go into politics, business, or some serious academic field. But Yuki's heart, it was with music and dance. She was obsessed with K-pop, especially Super Junior, and even learned DLE, a traditional Chinese dance, which got her deeper into performing. She dreamed of becoming a K-pop idol, but convincing her parents wasn't easy. It's understandable. She had a very safe, successful path already. Still, Yuqi didn't give up. She auditioned for both SM Entertainment and Cube, and passed both. Yep, SM too. But here's the twist. While SM was a huge name, Cube told her, if you join us, you can debut in a girl group within a year. That promise sealed the deal. Yuqi believed in that opportunity and chose Cube in the end. Even after becoming a trainee in Korea, Yuqi didn't slack off with her studies. She would literally fly back to China for exams, balancing both trainee life and school. In the end, she graduated on time, without any delays. Yuki's story isn't just about being talented, it's about knowing exactly what she wants, and going all in for it. Shuhua grew up in a pretty strict family in Taiwan. She didn't really get to go out much. Even simple things like going to the movies were rare. So instead, she'd stay home, watch TV, and dream about celebrities. People who seemed so free and fun. She was a bit of a mischievous kid, just like now. One time she even tried to run away from home. Didn't get very far, though, caught in 5 seconds. She also experimented with her grandma's makeup, sneaking it on when no one was watching. In middle school, Shuhua got into K-pop. It was already big in Taiwan, and she loved dancing to I-DLE choreographies with her friends. That's when she really started thinking, I want to be on that stage too. Her interest in performing led her to Hua Art School, one of the top art schools in Taiwan. She chose theater as her major because all her favorite Taiwanese stars had studied theater too. In her mind, she was following their path. If things had stayed that way, she probably would have debuted in Taiwan first, but fate had other ideas. One day, her friends mentioned they were going to audition for Cube Entertainment. Shuhua wasn't planning to audition, but she got curious and decided to go along with them. And just like that, she auditioned too. When the Cube staff saw her, they couldn't hide their excitement. Her visuals were already stunning. And on top of that, her modern dance skills impressed them instantly. She was cast on the spot. But moving to Korea was a big decision. It was far away, with a different culture, a new language, and no guarantee of success. Her teacher even advised her to think carefully. Still, Shuhua didn't want to live with what-ifs. She knew she'd regret it if she didn't at least try. So she packed her bags and took that leap. When she arrived in Korea, the Cube staff were so happy, saying, "A really pretty kid has joined." But behind the scenes, it wasn't easy. The language barrier was frustrating. Skill-wise, she felt behind compared to Korean trainees. She cried a lot in those early days. But Shuhua never gave up. She was always the last one left in the practice room, quietly working on herself. And in the end, that persistence paid off. She earned her place in the debut lineup. When (G)I-DLE's debut lineup was coming together, they had Soyeon, Minnie, Yuqi, and Shuhua ready to go. But there was a problem. There weren't enough Korean members. So Cube started searching for one more. That's when Miyeon came into the picture. At the time, Miyeon was 21. For K-pop trainee standards, that's considered a bit late to start. But this wasn't her first time in the industry. Before Cube, Miyeon had actually trained at YG Entertainment. Yes, with the Blackpink members. She was well known in the YG trainee community, especially for her visuals. At one point, people even mistakenly thought she was a rapper, calling her the second CL because of a photo mix-up. Miyeon was originally part of a pre-debut lineup called Pink Punk, which included members who are now in Blackpink. But when YG scrapped plans for that group, Miyeon ended up leaving the company. After that, she stepped away from the idol dream, taking vocal lessons, learning MIDI production, and considering other career paths. But then, Cube was still looking for that last piece of their new girl group. Miyeon auditioned, and it just clicked. She joined the (G)I-DLE debut lineup. Since she came in a bit later than the others, it was probably a little awkward at first. But Soyeon, being the leader she is, helped Miyeon settle in quickly. She guided her, supported her, and made sure she felt part of the team. Miyeon was so touched by Soyeon's kindness that once she felt comfortable, she basically opened up all at once, sharing her entire trainee history and personal stories. It caught Soyeon by surprise, but that's how their bond grew. In the end, Miyeon wasn't late. She was right on time. In 2025, (G)I-DLE officially rebranded as I-DLE, symbolizing a fresh start while staying true to their roots. With their latest music video already out, I-DLE is proving once again why they stand out. Not just for their music, but for their unique journey. Different stories, different paths, but together they've built something only they could. If you enjoyed this deep dive into I-DLE's casting stories, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Which member's story surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. See you next time.